Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK, a channel dedicated to sharing in-depth perspectives and analysis on English rugby, the Six Nations, and the stories behind tactics, people, and injuries. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date. Given the current squad situation of the England national team ahead of the Six Nations, especially head coach Steve Borthwick's comments surrounding injuries and the return of several key players, I find myself with many mixed thoughts, sympathy, concern, expectation, and a cautious sense of belief. This is not merely a routine squad update, it clearly reflects coaching philosophy, player management, and the inherent challenges of elite rugby, where the line between success and failure can sometimes be decided by a single week of recovery, a single training session, or even one bold or conservative decision by the coaching staff. First and foremost, the most obvious factor is the race against time that England are currently facing. The Six Nations is always a brutal tournament, not only in terms of technical quality, but also physical intensity, media pressure, and fan expectations. The fact that as many as 6 key players are still recovering from injury highlights the risks England are carrying into the competition. Names such as Finn Baxter, Ben Curry, Ollie Lawrence, Tom Roebuck, and Finn Smith are not merely backup options, they are players who play, or are expected to play, significant roles within the squad structure. That makes me feel both worried and, to some extent, understanding of Steve Borthwick's cautious tone.
Borthwick's comment that they are not too far away carries a very particular nuance. It is neither a firm guarantee nor an evasion of responsibility. Personally, I sense the balance he is trying to strike, offering reassurance to players and supporters, while not backing himself or the team into a corner if things fail to unfold as hoped. In elite sport, especially with complex injuries, nothing can ever be 100% certain. A player may train lightly today, but a negative physical response tomorrow can completely derail the plan. The decision to take recovering players to the training camp in Girona is also particularly noteworthy. It shows that the coaching staff have neither abandoned them nor rushed to cross them off the list. Instead, this is a humane and strategic approach, providing optimal recovery conditions while ensuring players still feel part of the collective. Personally, I rate this highly. In many teams or clubs, long-term injured players are often invisibly separated from the main group, which can lead to feelings of isolation, insecurity, and heavy psychological pressure upon return. However, Borthwick's admission that the timeline is very tight inevitably gives me pause. With only around 2 weeks left before the opening match against Wales, a traditional, emotionally charged opponent, every aspect of preparation becomes compressed. In rugby, fitness is not just about being able to take the field. It's about match rhythm, tactical cohesion, and the ability to withstand high-intensity collisions. A player returning from injury, no matter how technically gifted, rarely reaches peak performance without sufficient real match exposure. At this point, I strongly sense the internal dilemma facing Borthwick and his coaching team. On one hand, they need their best and most experienced players for crucial fixtures. On the other, they must weigh the risk of re-injury, or the possibility that a player not yet at full capacity could negatively affect the team as a whole. This is the eternal equation of elite sport: play it safe or take a gamble. Trust sports medicine and data science, or trust instinct and a player's desire to compete. Perhaps the most striking element of the piece is the story of George Furbank, a textbook example of professional resilience. A year described as a terrible one, riddled with injuries, a broken arm, concussion, persistent calf problems. Simply reading that feels heavy. On a personal level, I deeply sympathize with Furbank. Injuries don't just erode physical condition, they drain mental strength. The repeated cycle of recovery followed by setbacks can push any player into self-doubt. Yet the fact that he has still been called up, and that Borthwick has offered such specific and detailed praise, speaks volumes about the trust placed in him. I don't see this as blind favoritism, but rather recognition grounded in genuine ability. Borthwick's analysis of Furbank's decision-making, game reading, and timing, when to run, pass, or kick, shows that he evaluates players not merely by minutes played, but by the quality of their rugby intelligence. Personally, I really appreciate Borthwick's emphasis on decision-making. In modern rugby, where speed and power are largely standardized at a very high level, the true difference often lies in the mind. A player doesn't need to be the fastest or strongest, knowing when to accelerate, when to pass, or when to clear danger can fundamentally change a game. Furbank's ability to operate at both fullback, 15, and fly half, 10, further underlines his tactical value, especially at a time when injuries have reduced squad depth. That said, I still retain a degree of caution. 6 official club appearances across an entire season is not a large number. Even though Borthwick has stated that Furbank has enjoyed 8 or 9 weeks of continuous training and game involvement. The intensity of international rugby, particularly in the Six Nations, is an entirely different challenge. I find myself both hoping he will shine and worrying that the pace and pressure may outstrip his body's readiness. Looking more broadly, this situation also highlights England's ongoing phase of transition and rebuilding. In recent years, they have constantly searched for balance between giving opportunities to new faces and maintaining an experienced core. Injuries, unwelcome as they are, sometimes inadvertently accelerate this process. If some of the 6 recovering players fail to return in time, others will have the chance to prove themselves. But that also brings the risk of instability, especially in opening matches that often set the psychological tone for the entire tournament. Another aspect that caught my attention is Borthwick's notably calm, unpanicked tone. Despite acknowledging how tight the situation is, he continues to stress that everyone has a chance. Personally, I value this composure. In a high-pressure environment like the England setup, where media and fans scrutinize every detail, consistency of message from the head coach is crucial. It helps players feel protected, rather than pressured to rush recovery just to be available for a single match. Though relatively concise in factual terms, the situation opens up multiple layers of meaning about the relationship between people and performance in sport. There is hope that players will return in time. Anxiety that time may not be enough, belief in individuals like Furbank, and realism in acknowledging how fragile everything is. For me, this encapsulates both the beauty and brutality of elite sport. There are no perfect scripts, only decisions made under imperfect conditions. If I put myself in the position of an England supporter, I would approach the Wales match with a blend of excitement and caution. Excitement, because the squad still contains outstanding individuals, tactical depth, and strong competitive spirit. Caution, because injuries can significantly affect cohesion and overall performance. But perhaps it is precisely this uncertainty that defines the appeal of the Six Nations, where every match carries its own story. And every player returning from injury brings with them a journey worth respecting. For me, Steve Borthwick's approach to squad management, cautious, but not pessimistic, realistic yet still hopeful, is one worthy of respect. Regardless of the outcome of the opening match, prioritizing long-term player welfare, maintaining unity, and sustaining internal trust remain fundamental to lasting success. And perhaps it is in difficult, uncertain moments like these that the true character of a great team is most clearly revealed.
The Six Nations is always full of challenges and emotions. If you love deep insights into the England national team and elite level rugby, subscribe to Scrum Masters Elite _UK and join me on this journey. See you soon.